Thanks. Good morning and happy Wednesday. The timekeepers here are really tough. And they told me if I talk for longer than 3 minutes, bad things are going to happen to me, so I'm going to be brief. On behalf of the Northwest Climate Science Center, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to this session today. The Northwest Climate Science Center is one of 8 CSCs established by the Department of Interior nationwide. And here in the Northwest is a partnership between the U.S. Geological Survey and 3 primary universities, the University of Washington, Oregon State University, and the University of Idaho. So when we learned about the opportunity to put this session together, we started contemplating different titles for it. And I wanted to share those miles with you. What we wanted to do was modify some of the titles of catchy TV shows that we all know. So really briefly, that was one of the options that we were considering, and changing it that way, or maybe that way. That was another show we considered, and changing it that way. This was another one. Oh, sorry, that's the wrong Ricky family. That's them. And we had one other example. Can anybody make what's in the clue there? So, but we quickly realized that this was going nowhere fast, and we needed to go back to a fundamental concept that we entertain at the Climate Science Center network, and that is actionable science. And primary in that definition are 2 elements. One is that the science that we are trying to promote needs to be policy relevant, but not policy prescriptive. So in other words, it's a science that we want to put to use, but you eventually make the final decision. And the other one, the second point, is that this needs to be developed jointly by scientists and resource managers or decision makers working together from the very beginning. Don't wait until the end of the project to recognize each other and start doing business then. Identify each other early, work through the planning stages of those projects early on and through the life of the project. So with that in mind, again, I need to be brief. I wanted to give a quick message, 2 messages. One to resource managers. How many resource managers in the room today? I'm told about 60%. Wrong data. Okay. The rest are scientists, I assume. Okay. So to the resource managers out there, 3 primary points. Don't just ask for more science because it's the easy thing to do. Right? You need to be more specific. You need to help us understand the kind of work you need to see done coming from the scientific world. You need to try to define science products a little bit better. What is it that you want from those scientists? And the last point, and that's a very difficult one, is to really try to fine-tune the management application that you intend for those science products. This is just to illustrate. Am I dead? Okay. When you don't articulate the kind of research products, someone else will do it for you. And in this case, this is coming from our fiscal 14 request for proposals. These are some of the things scientists thought resource managers needed. So as you can see, you're working with very intelligent people, very capable, and they can produce a lot of stuff for you. Another question was, okay, what is management application? And when decision makers don't respond, someone else does. In this case, again, the scientists say, this is what I think you need to do with the research products I'll provide. It's quite a list. So be specific. Message to scientists, and again, this is coming from our experience in the recent request for proposals. This is a selection criterion. In other words, you come to us for funding, you turn in a proposal, and one of the questions that we ask of you is, tell us exactly how your work is going to be relevant, and how do you plan to work with resource managers? How are you going to engage with them? These are some real responses, and the dots, the red dots in the end, are full stops. That's the elaboration. That's the response from scientists to that selection criterion. What I'm trying to illustrate here is how some of these things come to be an afterthought. And I'm inviting you, inspiring you, asking you, begging you to please develop those partnerships early on. So to finish the message to scientists, make your science count. Don't just wait to have your glossy page publication in hand and feel good about yourselves. Look around, jump on the time machine 2 years from now, whenever your project ends, when you have that publication in hand, and who is waiting for it? What kind of decisions are you informing? What are the managers that really, really, really need that work? Meet them, bring them to today, and start the work together today. So with that in mind, we finally came up with a preferred title for our session this morning, and we modified it that way. All right, so the show today is we have invited 3 pairs. Each one has a scientist and a resource manager counterpart. They will dance for us, telling us the kind of science that they develop and the kind of management application to make that science actionable, the management context for that science, and how the interaction between the two of them happened. So with that, thank you very much. I hope you have your dance shoes on and enjoy the show.